Taurus, I need you to take a deep breath before you continue watching, because what I'm about to reveal will stir up emotions you've been trying to hide, even from yourself. There's a separation happening in your life right now, or that happened recently, and you can't understand why. You've been wondering what you did wrong, where you failed, why something that seemed so solid simply crumbled. And I'm here to tell you something that will completely change how you see this situation. You did nothing wrong. This separation didn't happen because you weren't good enough. It happened because God saw something you couldn't see. While you were investing your energy, your time, your heart in that person or that situation, a higher power was watching from an angle you couldn't access. It saw dangers gathering on the horizon. It saw traps being set. It saw endings that would destroy you if you continued down that path. And out of love, out of absolute protection, this divine force intervened. It took away what you thought you needed, to give you space to receive what you truly deserve. I know it hurts. I know you didn't ask for this separation. I know you would have kept trying, fighting, investing, because Tauruses don't give up easily. You are loyal to the end, even when the end should have come a long time ago. But that's exactly why the intervention needed to be so drastic. Because you would never have gotten out of that situation on your own. Your nature would have made you stay, even if staying cost you your soul. Can you feel deep in your heart a sense of relief mixed with the pain, as if a part of you knew you needed to be freed from this prison? What I'm going to share with you isn't just an explanation of this separation. It's a complete revelation about what was happening behind the scenes in your life while you were busy trying to make something work that was already destined to end. I'm going to show you exactly what God saw that was hidden from your eyes. I'm going to reveal the dangers from which you were protected. And most importantly, I'm going to help you understand that this painful separation is actually the greatest gift you could receive at this point in your life. Because the truth is this: you were so attached to the idea of that person or that situation, so invested in making it work, that you couldn't see the damage being done to you. You couldn't perceive how you were losing yourself, diminishing yourself, adapting in ways that betrayed your essence. You didn't see how you were accepting crumbs when you deserved a banquet. And if you had continued down that path, you would have reached a point where you wouldn't recognize the person in the mirror anymore. Are you ready to discover what was truly at stake if that separation hadn't happened? Taurus, let me tell you something about how divine interventions work. When you're walking towards a precipice, too blinded by attachment to see the danger, the universe first tries to subtly warn you. It sends small signals, that strange feeling in your stomach, those moments where something seems wrong even when everything seems right. But you're stubborn, you're persistent. You decided you were going to make it work, no matter what. So you ignored the subtle signs. Then the warnings become a little clearer. Arguments begin to arise. Small disappointments accumulate. Broken promises become more frequent. Your energy begins to be drained in ways you try to rationalize as normal. But you continued, because Taurus doesn't give up, because you believed in the potential, in what it could become, instead of accepting what it really was. And when subtle and clear warnings fail, when you're too determined to continue toward your own detriment, that's when direct divine intervention occurs. The separation that seems to come out of nowhere. The abrupt end that leaves you in shock. The rupture that hurts so much you feel it physically. Not because God wants to see you suffer, but because this temporary pain is infinitely less than the destruction you were heading toward. So yes, it hurts now. You feel like a part of you has been ripped away. You feel the loss, the confusion, the emptiness. But this pain is saving you from something much worse. It's saving you from losing yourself completely. It's saving you from wasted years on something that would never give you what you truly need. It's saving you so that you can be available when what is truly yours arrives. Can you imagine how grateful you will be for this separation when you finally understand the magnitude of the danger that was avoided? For those born in Taurus between April 20th and April 30th, the separation that has happened or is happening involves a person who was draining your creative energy and self-confidence in such subtle ways that you didn't even realize it. God saw that if you continued, you would completely lose connection with your unique talents. For those born between May 1st and May 10th, the situation you are being separated from involved emotional manipulation disguised as love or care. There was a toxic dynamic that was keeping you small, and divine intervention freed you before you completely lost your inner strength. And for those born between May 11th and May 20th, the separation has to do with a situation that was preventing you from achieving your true purpose. God saw that you were too comfortable in something safe but limited and needed to be pushed out of the nest. What all Taurians are experiencing in common is the pain of letting go of something that seemed essential but was actually blocking the flow of better things into their lives. And what God saw, which you couldn't see, is that as long as you kept that person or situation in your life, there would be no room for what was truly planned for you. You were so focused on making it work that you didn't notice the opportunities being lost, the doors closing, the time passing. Do you have the courage to trust that this separation, however painful, is actually an act of divine love, redirecting you to something infinitely better? Now let me reveal to you specifically what God saw that was hidden from you. While you saw loyalty, God saw unhealthy emotional dependence. While you saw love, God saw disguised control. While you saw stability, God saw stagnation. While you saw someone who needed you, God saw someone who was using you. While you saw potential, God saw a situation that would never change, no matter how much you invested in it. God saw that you were settling for less than you deserve. He saw you normalizing behaviors that should be unacceptable. He saw you justifying actions that hurt you. He saw you repeatedly forgiving things that should never have happened in the first place. And above all, God saw you betraying yourself to maintain a false peace, sacrificing pieces of your soul to keep someone or something that didn't deserve that sacrifice. The hardest part of this revelation is accepting that you were so emotionally involved that you couldn't see the truth, even when it was right in front of you. Your friends probably tried to warn you. Your intuition certainly screamed at you many times. But you didn't want to listen, because listening would mean having to act, and acting would mean losing what you had convinced yourself you couldn't live without. So the universe had to do for you what you didn't have the courage to do for yourself. It had to forcibly separate you from what was slowly destroying you. And yes, that seems cruel when you're in the midst of the pain. But when time passes and you look back clearly, you'll realize it was the most loving thing that could have happened to you. Taurus, I want you to stop now and think about something. How much of your energy was being spent trying to fix, maintain, or sustain this person or situation? How much time did you spend anxious, worried, trying to decipher what was wrong? How many nights did you sleep poorly because something wasn't right, but you couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was? How much of your essence did you hide to fit into that space that was never meant for you? Now imagine all that free energy, all that dissolved worry, all that released anxiety, all that mental and emotional space available for things that truly nourish you, expand you, and help you grow. That's what this separation is paving the way for. It's not about loss. It's about liberation. It's not about what ended. It's about what can finally begin now that you're free. God saw that you were trapped in a pattern that would repeat itself endlessly if it wasn't drastically broken. He saw that you had developed such a strong attachment to the known, even when the known was painful, that you would never take the necessary step into the unknown, where your true well-being awaits. And so, he made the decision for you. He removed the option to continue, to force you to finally move on. I know that when you're in the midst of this separation, it seems impossible to believe that anything good can come of it. The pain is very real. The loss seems overwhelming. The future seems very uncertain. But I need you to understand something fundamental. This pain is temporary, but the damage you were suffering in that situation would have been permanent. You were being molded into a lesser version of yourself, and if it continued, there would come a point of no return. The separation hurt, but it saved you. Can you begin to feel, even slightly, that a freedom is emerging from beneath the pain? I'll tell you what God saw in the future if you continued down that path. He saw you 5 years from now, still in the same situation, but with the sparkle in your eyes completely extinguished. He saw you having given up on your dreams to accommodate someone who never truly valued you. He saw you looking in the mirror and no longer recognizing the person there because you would have given up everything that made you who you were. He saw you trapped in a cycle of excuses, empty promises, and broken hopes. He saw you having wasted precious years of your life on something that would never give you what your soul longs for. But God also saw another possibility. He saw you free, healed, whole. He saw you rediscover who you truly are after so long being who others needed you to be. He saw you attracting people and situations that honor your truth. He saw you using all your talents fully, without diminishing yourself to make others feel comfortable. He saw you living a life that makes sense to your soul, not a life you forced yourself to accept out of fear of being alone or starting over. And to reach that second possibility, separation was inevitable. There was no other way. You were too stuck, too attached, too invested to leave alone. You needed to be pushed, even if the push hurt. Because on the other side of that push is a version of your life that you can't even imagine yet. But that is so much better than what you were clinging to so tightly. Over the next few days and weeks, as you process this separation, moments of clarity will emerge where you will begin to see what was hidden. Memories will appear in a new light. Behaviors you justified will reveal their true nature. Patterns you ignored will become obvious, and with each revelation, you will understand a little more deeply why this separation needed to happen. You'll also start noticing changes in yourself. You'll realize you're sleeping better, that there's less tension in your body, that you can breathe more deeply, that you have more energy. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that your system is healing from chronic stress that you had become accustomed to carrying. Your body knew that situation wasn't good for you, even when your mind refused to accept it. And then, at some point, it could be weeks or months from now, you will wake up and realize that you are no longer suffering, that the acute pain has become a distant memory, that you can think about that person or situation without your heart aching. And on that day, you will finally be able to see with complete clarity the gift that this separation was. You will be able to be grateful for having been saved from yourself. You will be able to recognize the divine hand guiding you away from danger and towards the light. Taurus, what God also saw was your extraordinary potential being wasted. He saw that you have within you the capacity to love, create, build, and impact the world in magnificent ways. But he saw that in that situation, all that potential was being directed towards a black hole that would never reciprocate or value what you offered. It was like throwing diamonds in the trash, like using an artist's talent to paint walls that were going to be demolished, like planting seeds in dead soil. Separation is not a punishment, it's a redirection. It's not a loss, it's a course correction. It's not the end of your story. It's the closing of a chapter that was preventing you from starting the next one. And the next chapter, Taurus, is so beautiful that it's worth every tear you're shedding now. Because on the other side of that pain lies a life where you don't have to diminish yourself, where your needs matter as much as anyone else's, where your worth is recognized and honored, where you can be completely authentic without fear of rejection, where you attract people who want to be with you for who you are, not for what you can do for them, where you build something solid based on mutual truth, not on illusions and false promises. During this healing period, be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to feel the pain without judgment. Cry when you need to cry. Be silent when you need silence. Seek support when you need someone to hold your hand. But while you do all this, remember, you are not lost. You are being found. You are not breaking. You are being freed. You are not ending. You are beginning again. And amidst the pain, start paying attention to the small, good things that are emerging now that you have space for them. That hobby you had abandoned and is rekindling your interest. That friendship that had drifted apart and is now reconnecting. That creative idea that is sprouting now that your mind is no longer consumed by constant worries. These are the first signs of something new being born. Taurus, God also saw something in you that you had forgotten, your strength. You are much stronger than you imagine. You survived things you thought you wouldn't survive. You went through pain you thought would break you. And here you are, still standing, still breathing, still able to love and dream and believe. This separation will be no different. You will survive it too. And not only survive, you will thrive on the other side of it. The reason this message reached you now is because you need to hear that you're not alone in this experience, that what you're feeling is valid and understandable, but you also need to hear that there is hope on the other side, that the story doesn't end with separation, that there's a future waiting for you that's so much better than the past you're leaving behind. You will begin to reconnect with parts of yourself that you had lost. You will remember dreams you had set aside. You will rediscover passions you had let die. You will find your voice again, the one that had been silenced so as not to disturb the false peace. And each